Hello and welcome back. I am Eva. This here is the Dodo. Welcome to my tribe.
We were sure, and I must have been blind just to think I'd find someone new, one who loved me better than world in me as a surprise. Loneliness has opened my eyes. I tried every love I could find, still I can't get you out of my mind. 'Cause there's no one in the world to love me, no one in the world gonna move me, no one in the world can love me like you do, baby. Every time.
New goal alert. Yes, my new goal is to make it to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I know that could be kind of hard. I know. But can we do it? In the meantime, in between time, I am monetized right now. So you can always super me, super thank me, super sticker me, super chat me. You understand? If you don't want to do that, my Cash App and my Streamlab tipping information will also be listed in the description, so you can support my channel and support my cause. And as always, thank you, my guy and my gal. I appreciate you guys. Okay, so it is Halloween spooky season. It is a spooky season. So the other day I was I'm gonna backtrack. Last time I recorded was I had the black dress on, you remember? And I told y'all like it was really hard for me to record. I didn't really want to record. I was not in the mood to record. And then I watched something and then I prayed and I was like, I gotta record. So what I planned on recording at that time was something different, but I ended up just doing the rest of the request and whatever, and I didn't get a chance to do this. But what I was watching that day, it was about, so I don't know if you guys know what minstrel shows are, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of backstory. A minstrel show was when the actors, I would say post-slavery time, but not segregation, so it's like in the middle of right after slavery or right at the end of slavery to the post Jim Crow era, well, pre-Jim Crow era, I guess you can say. There were minstrel shows, and basically what it'll be white actors in blackface. Now sometimes they did have black actors also, but they're most notable for having blackface, painted red lips, all that jazz. Very racist. But the speaking essay that I watched on YouTube was about how, I guess you can say, black filmmakers made the minstrel show horror genre, and how it can be not good for our culture, basically. It spoke to me because, honestly speaking, I want to be a filmmaker and I wanted to do black horror films, and so it made me rethink it. I think that if I do it, it's not going to be black horror that is centered or focused on racism, right? I feel like we as black people, I know me personally, I'm tired of seeing slavery movies. I'm tired of seeing slavery-ish movies. I'm tired of seeing, all that slavery shit. Just like, can I get a regular horror movie for once? Anyway, the creator that made that essay has also made this, and because it's still spooky season, he does have a compilation that I'm going to do after this, but this is another one of his dissections, and this is a movie in particular. In that essay, he was talking about them, showed them, and a couple of other shows. And if I get time, I will do a full analysis of that essay, because I think that it was very well written and very well executed. But in the meantime, in between time, we're about to do this one. So here we go, y'all. This creator goes by GoldFro. That's his name, GoldFro. His information is going to be down in the description area if you want to check it out.
So last weekend, I decided to be brave, doing dips and splits and bending over backwards to dodge the Delta variant, all so that I could see Candyman in theaters. And I have some thoughts.
Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Candyman was one of my favorite horror movies growing up. My favorite one in particular is the one that he did about New Orleans. The one that when he came to New Orleans. That was my favorite. But Candyman is my favorite horror movie of all time. Candyman and Leprechaun. Those are my two favorite horrors. I ain't gonna hold you.
Candyman 2021 is the most recent sequel, kind of reboot to the cult classic Candyman franchise, which originally starred Tony Todd as the titular urban legend. This somewhat reimagining of the mythos comes from the mind of director and co-writer Nia DaCosta. And I want to say that up front because I notice a lot of people erasing my girl from her own movie.
I did not know that. I did not know a black woman. Okay.
She's literally the first black woman to have a #1 movie debut, so props to her. I'm interested in seeing what she does for the Marvels. Jordan Peele does have a co-writing cred and produced this under his company Monkey Paw, but...
Okay. I ain't gonna hold you. I really want to be a part of Monkey Paw. I actually got into film school at LA Film School. The only reason why I wasn't able to attend is because it was $95,000 and it was going to be a second bachelor's. And if you know anything about financial aid, once you have a bachelor's and a master's, they will not pay for another bachelor's. So I was hoping to become monetized on YouTube so that I can afford to go to film school. So y'all will be filming me going to film school, on top of everything else I want to be funded for. This is most definitely one of the things, because in order for you to work or get an internship at Monkey Paw, and I like the ones of like that one, like I was thinking about also Issa Rae, they all require you have to go to film school. That's what the academy requires, and most of these internships with these production companies or like are ran through the actual academy. So I gotta go to school, yeah. So I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Exactly a Jordan Peele joint. This version tells the story of painter Anthony McCoy and his art gallery curator girlfriend Brianna as he investigates a local urban legend as inspiration for an art exhibition. As Anthony dives deeper into the history of the Cabrini Green neighborhood, he unwittingly awakens an evil that lay dormant for years. The dark force of nature known as Candyman. It's Candyman. His name's Candyman. You say his name 5 times in a reflection and bloop, he shows up to gut you with a hook hand. It in some ways directly references the original film and mythology while updating it in some confusing ways that I'll get into. I was pretty excited for this movie since I saw it.
I definitely was too. I seen it. I did see it, but I haven't seen it since it came out. So this will be interesting because I kind of forgot it about a bit, and I love that. I always want to forget the movie before I rewatch it because I don't want to rewatch it knowing all the scenes unless it's like a cult classic like Friday or Men's Society or The Wood or something like that. But I like to rewatch films after I forget it because it's like the whole sensation of going through it again and not remembering what happened.
Teasers back in February 2020. It's been a year, y'all. It's been a year. It's been quite a year. Whew. Anyway, horror as a genre is really fascinating to me. Even though they don't do the thing for me, I don't really get scared of movies. I more just get disturbed by certain imagery. But I believe a movie can haunt you with its ideas, so I do like watching and studying them. A lot of times, they're just entertaining. Like, Freddy is a stand-up comedian. So taking probably the only black horror franchise character, besides like Blackula, and updating him for a socially conscious modern audience seemed like an interesting idea. Plus, the shadow puppet teaser was everything. Like, I was sold. Just a really cool visual idea, and it works great in the film. But I'm not sure if it quite pulled everything off the way it aspired to. Critic consensus seems pretty positive on this one. People enjoyed the iconic character and haunting cinematography. The opening credits show this crawling drive from the high rises of Chicago to the residential areas, but it's from this angle like you're lying on your back looking up, and the tops of skyscrapers disappear in a sea of fog. It feels abstract and very underworldly. Not like underworld, but like the underworld. And does a great job of setting an off-kilter tone. Performances are great for the most part. The leads are just beautiful. Yaya and Tiana. Whew, wow, just love seeing them on my screen. Yeah. Also, love me some Coleman Domingo. Honestly, just sprinkle a little Coleman Domingo on everything. We love to see it. That's all well and good, but I want to talk about the themes.
So for this this creator, I love that he is so in-depth when he is describing how he feels, because he give you the imagery in your mind and then he follows it up with the actual picture of it. I do appreciate a good descriptive person, especially within an essay, because like the more detailed oriented the better for me, especially because I'm a visual thinker, I guess you can say, in that I can visualize when I hear something. So I do appreciate that part of him, and I'm glad that now there's spoilers. Like, if you've never seen the movie before, then you shouldn't watch this, but it's 2024. I'm pretty sure you've seen the movie before. If you haven't, this is gonna give you a good, I guess, guide to know what's gonna happen if you've never seen it. But I will put a spoiler alert on there, so you'll know. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it before, don't watch this.
From the trailers, we could see that this Candyman was gonna be a bit different. Clearly, race and class were gonna be more at the forefront of the story, not just subtext. Some people think this is a bad thing just in itself, which I do not agree. I understand people don't like feeling preached to, but like, honestly, subtlety sometimes. I'm fine with the movie being upfront about a message it wants to say, because no shade, a lot of people do not have the media literacy tools to really digest some things. It's a cliche at this point that so many people continue to misinterpret Fight Club and The Matrix. So a movie wearing its politics on its sleeve, I don't mind it. But then that makes me a little more interested in and critical of exactly what insight the artists have to say about it, and whether they tell a compelling story. Like I said, reception is mostly positive, but it's interesting to see some criticism reenact a meta-commentary within the film. Some people see it and think, oh, it's about gentrification. Like, this is simple and obvious and cliche, which is literally a point of view mocked by the art critic character. This is someone who shows up to Anthony's art gallery and she tries to call out his art piece as basically just saying gentrification bad, and even includes him in on the blame for the process. She claims artists descend upon a neighborhood for cheap rent, and that leads to the turnover. I immediately thought about the documentary Detropia, which by the end almost feels like a commercial for gentrification. I'd recommend people check that out to see this dynamic at play. But Candyman, the film, kind of tries to show she's missing the point. Okay, so what is the point? A hint at it comes from something Coleman Domingo's character Burke says, even in the trailer.
Candyman ain't a he. Candyman's the whole damn hive.
Candyman ain't a he. Candyman is the whole damn hive. So, what is the hive? We learn through Burke that the Candyman legend is a ritual tragedy. Over the decades, many black men in Cabrini Green have been killed and mutilated in ways that reflect and add to the legend. This ties Candyman 2021 to the origins of Daniel Rubatai in the original franchise. The fact there have been many Candymen. In Burke's personal experience, he was a man named Sherman who handed out candy to kids and crawled out of dark holes in the walls, low humming some tuneless melody, which, you know, almost feels like you tried to scare people. I'm not saying he deserved what, you know what, I'm just gonna leave that right there. The idea is that it's not the destruction of one black man or even one neighborhood. It's about systems, cycles of tragedy, systems of violence and exploitation. In the movie, Anthony finally responds to the critic, calling out her comment about blaming artists. Anthony mentions housing, the process of gentrification that is rooted in municipal policy and a real estate market that seeks to constantly drive profits. In a different facet, it's where we make housing a difficult thing to obtain without crossing all these barriers, then criminalize people for being unhoused or unwell. If you don't labor in the way the influential class wants you to, you will be seized into the prison system, which was basically slavery reform. You will be forced to do the labor that is useful to society as a proper worker bee, and the police, our killer bees, make sure everything functions as it should, with the occasional bit of violence if necessary. That's the hive. Gentrification is a honeycomb, a symptom. These ills are driven by policy between the state and influential moneyed interests, corporations and industry lobbies, the owning class, the Koch brothers, the Bushes, the Rockefellers, the families whose wealth is so entrenched and private, we don't even know their names. So the film dares us to say his name. But then there's a question, I guess, of whether Candyman is the right or best character to tell that story without it being confusing. Because in his original take, Candyman was killing a lot of black people, even though the violence that created him was white supremacist violence. The 2021 film, by the end, does a flip by creating a new Candyman who, I guess, defends the hood and kills murderer cops. The concept of reversing generational curses is interesting, especially in the context of black culture and black art.
Just say his name and I promise that you'll see Candyman.
Artists like Kendrick Lamar and Beyonce tell moving stories of reversing generational curses in their works Damn and Lemonade respectively. But the message in those works is pointing towards the device that allowed them to do such an extraordinary thing, namely Black American Christian faith, introspection, and love. The Dissect podcast gives a great, detailed deep dive into both albums if you're interested in more analysis of those themes. In Candyman 2021, what is the mechanism for change? I don't really know. It's unclear why this time is different, how the hood reclaims Candyman as a spirit of vengeance. Is it because it was a voluntary sacrifice? Does Anthony choose to martyr himself? Because that's a troubling conclusion when drawing on.
I think that it's important for us to have an idea of what a film actually means. Why I say that is because there's a lot of imagery, especially in, let's say, what's that movie? Get Out. It's so much imagery in that, and it means so many different things that when you're watching it, all of the symbolism goes over your head because it's so many things. You're trying to keep up with the imagery on top of trying to keep up with the storyline, the plot, and all that, right? That's why I enjoy watching people dissect it, because I can look back on the film and say, oh, that makes sense. And then after I see the dissection and I rewatch the movie, like, it all comes together. So it kind of forces you to rewatch the movie. And when you rewatching it, it's like you have your third eye open, so you are totally awake, and it does what it's supposed to do.
Life police violence.
Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice.
Unlike how some leaders choose to see things, George Floyd and others did not give their lives for America to learn a lesson.
No.
Either way, it's also unclear how much Anthony chooses what happens to him, whether possession or some kind of spell. So I don't really know what to do with this ending. I'm also not sure why those 4 white girls got slaughtered. Like, how are they contributing to all this? It was a cool scene, but kind of departs from what seems to be the overall message about systems. Does it deliver on thrills and chills? For me, not really. Again, I personally don't get scared at any horror movie, so that's not a deal breaker. There is some effectively disturbing body horror that made my skin crawl. If you have trypophobia, this will absolutely ruin your day. And it did leave me thinking and slightly frustrated.
So I don't know if y'all remember me saying that how these phobias, trypophobia is really actually one of the major phobias of mine. That's one of the major ones, on top of the glitch phobia that I have. I don't forget what that means, but yeah, trypophobia. Please, y'all, it making me itch. Even saying the name make me itch.
But not really in a bad way. In the end, I enjoyed what I saw, but it left me wanting for something more insightful. People seem to want to consider works related to Jordan Peele or stuff like them on Amazon as a burgeoning black or racial horror genre. And like any genre studies, I think it's worth mulling over and thinking about what exactly we want from these types of movies, these types of stories. I'm enjoying them for now, but we'll see what's on the horizon.
Do you mind keeping it down? If you don't comply, I'll tell the manager.
Wait a minute. We have a white entitled neighbor named Karen.
Oh dear God. Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching this creator. If you also enjoy watching this creator, go ahead and give him a watch. Alright, y'all. See y'all in a minute. Now, I hope that you enjoyed this here reaction. I appreciate you for making it to the end of this here reaction. If you enjoyed the content from the content creator, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to that content creator. If you enjoyed my reaction to their content, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. My sponsors' information will be in my website, listed on the description also. And y'all be easy and stay dangerous, my nigga.